When the Cambrian mainline was a part of the Great Western Railway, its restrictions made larger locomotives unable to operate along the line. And so, in December 1929, for a bit of an experiment, the Great Western Railway took a GWR Duke class and a GWR Bulldog class and have it modified to create a brand new engine. And this would ultimately become the Great Western Railway 3200s, otherwise known as the Earl classes or the Duke Dogs. After the success of this conversion, the locomotives were soon sent to Swindon and were soon rebuilt into these classes, and by 1939, over 30 of these engines were rebuilt into the Duke Dog or the Earl classes. As such, they were one of the last of the standard gauge steam locomotives to ever be built in Great Britain to use the outside cylinder frames, as they would be seen along the Cambrian coastline and exclusively on the Cambrian coastline, but with some of the members even operating outside of that line as well. The prototype engine of the Earl classes received its original name and number of that of the former Duke classes that they've operated before this conversion, while the new locomotives would retain new numbers and new names and became only one of a few classes that would operate along the Cambrian coastline, as it was light enough to even operate along the wooden Barmouth Bridge, while the others included GWR 2251 class and the LMS IVAC Class 2 260 Moguls. As a result, they remained in regular service until the 1950s under the British Railways era. In 1946, a renumbering scheme for both the Duke Dogs and the Dukes were all renumbered into the 9000 series, retaining the same last two digits. This was so to free the 3200s for its new 2251 classes, which were built during this time until 1948. However, withdrawals of the Duke Dogs had begun in 1948, and by 1960, all of the members had been withdrawn from service and were all scrapped, with the likely exception of 3200 number 9017 Earl of Berkeley. The locomotive was built in 1938 at Swindon using frames from a Bulldog locomotive number 3425, with its boiler and cab being from a Duke class number 3282, originally known as Chepstow Castle. The locomotive was originally numbered 3217, but it was soon renumbered into 9017 and would operate along the Cambrian mainline until October of 1960, when it was withdrawn from service. It was preserved by the Blue Bow Railway, which was the only standard gauge preservation railway in the entirety of the UK at the time, and it arrived there on the 15th of February of 1962. From 1963, it carried the nameplates from a Great Western Railway Castle class number 5060, and it later carried out its original numbers after an 060 was withdrawn from service in early 1965. After a period out of traffic from December of 1973, the engine would be given its overhaul around 1980 and soon return to service just 2 years later in 1982, with the engine's final overhaul being completed around November of 2003. The private owner had donated the engine to the Blue Bow Railway on the condition that it would remain in service along the line, but after a series of boiler and mechanical failures in June of 2011, the engine was withdrawn from service for one final time. As of today, the engine is currently at display at a railway museum at the Vale of Rydal on a 2-year loan period, in which the locomotive would not be removed from the museum until those 2 years are finally over. The 3200s, despite their designs being based on dated designs from the 1890s and the 1900s, are still unique in its own way, as the last outside framed locomotive to ever be designed in the entirety of the UK, with the legacy of the 3200s continuing on as a part of the only preserved engine of its kind.